Commander Jinwoo Park looked out the window of his small ship. The space station ahead was bigger than any city on Earth. Metal and glass twisted together in strange shapes that hurt his eyes to look at. This was Nexus Prime, the most important place in the galaxy. Today, Earth would meet the Galactic Empire for the first time. "Are you nervous?" asked Dr. Minji Kim. She sat next to him, holding a metal case. Inside were examples of human technology. The Empire wanted to see what Earth could make before they decided if humans were smart enough to join their club. "A little," Jinwoo said. "We've been waiting for this day for 50 years. The Empire had been watching Earth from far away. They sent robots to study humans but never made contact. Finally, they decided humans were ready to learn about the galaxy. But humans would start at the bottom. The Empire had 9 levels of smart species. Humans would be level 9, the lowest. Their ship docked at the station with a soft bump. Jinwoo, Minji, and engineer Hyunwoo Lee walked through a tunnel into the station. The air smelled strange, like metal and something sweet. Lights in the Yi-Eng walls changed colors as they walked. A tall alien waited for them. It had blue skin and 4 arms. Its head was shaped like an egg, and its eyes were bigger than human eyes. "Welcome," it said in perfect English. "I am High Arbiter Veltharos. I speak for the Empire today." Jinwoo bowed his head. "Thank you for meeting us. I am Commander Park, and this is Dr. Kim and Engineer Lee." Veltharos looked at them like a teacher looking at small children. "Follow me. We have much to show you." They walked through halls filled with aliens. Some looked like giant insects. Others had scales like fish. Some floated in the air without wings. All of them stared at the humans as they passed. "Your species is very young," Veltharos said. "You have only been in space for a few hundred years. Most Empire species have been traveling the stars for thousands of years." They stopped at a room filled with machines. Veltharos pointed to a box the size of a house. Blue crystals glowed inside it. "This is a quantum processor. It can think faster than 1,000,000 human brains, but it needs rare crystals from only 3 planets in the galaxy." Minji looked at the machine with interest. "How much does it cost?" "More than your planet makes in 10 years, Veltharos said proudly. Next, he showed them a communication device. It was covered in buttons and screens. Wires ran everywhere. "This sends messages faster than light, but messages must go through relay stations. Each message costs money." Hyunwoo frowned. "What if the relay stations break?" "Then you cannot talk to anyone until they are fixed," Veltharos said. "This is why young species like yours need the Empire. We built these systems over thousands of years." They moved to the power center of the station. Machines the size of buildings hummed with energy. "This station uses dark matter engines," Veltharos explained. "Dark matter is very hard to find and very expensive. Only the Empire knows how to use it safely." "What happens if the power fails?" Jinwoo asked. Veltharos laughed. "It never fails. Our technology is perfect." Just then, alarms started ringing. Red lights flashed everywhere. An alien with tentacles for arms rushed over to Veltharos and spoke in a language that sounded like music. Veltharos's face changed. He looked worried for the first time. "There is a problem. A solar storm is hitting the station. It is blocking our dark matter flow." The lights went out. Emergency power came on, but it was dim and weak. Aliens ran around, pressing buttons and shouting at each other. Nothing worked. "How long until normal power comes back?" Jinwoo asked. "Could be hours. Could be days," Veltharos said. "Solar storms are hard to predict. We will have to wait." Hyunwoo stepped forward. "Maybe we can help." Veltharos looked at him like he had said something funny. "Your species has not even mastered fusion power. What could you do?" Hyunwoo opened his backpack and pulled out a gray metal box. It was about the size of a lunchbox and had no buttons or lights on it. "This is a portable fusion reactor. The aliens stopped what they were doing. They stared at the small box. "Impossible," Veltharos said. "Fusion reactors are huge. They need massive magnetic fields and cooling systems." "Human ones are different," Hyunwoo said. He connected some wires from the box to the station's power system. "We use magnetic bottles and plasma containment. It's not that hard once you figure it out." He pressed one button on the side of the box. A soft humming sound started. The lights came back on. All the machines started working again. The aliens stood in silence. Some of them made sounds like gasping. Others dropped the tools they were holding. "How is this possible?" Veltheros whispered. "What powers this device?" "Just hydrogen," Hunwoo said. "We pull it from water. The reactor makes the hydrogen atoms stick together to make helium. That creates energy." "But where are the cooling systems? Where are the magnetic field generators?" Hyunwoo pointed to the box. "All inside. We made them really small and efficient." Veltheros picked up the box and looked at it from all sides. "This weighs maybe 20 pounds. Our smallest fusion reactor weighs 20 tons and fills a whole room." "Yeah, ours are pretty convenient," Hyunwoo said. "This one can power a small city for about a year." Minji opened her metal case. Inside were more human devices. A computer the size of a book. A communication device that looked like a simple phone. A small medical scanner. "These are examples of human technology," she said. "We brought them to show what we can make." Veltheros held the computer. "How fast can this think?" "About as fast as your quantum processor," Minji said. "But it doesn't need rare crystals. We make the parts from silicon and common metals." The alien's hands shook. "Show me the communication device." Minji turned on the human phone. "This can send messages anywhere in the galaxy instantly. No relay, stations needed." "How?" "Quantum entanglement. We pair particles and separate them. When one changes, the other changes instantly, no matter how far apart they are." Veltheros sat down heavily. Other aliens gathered around, all talking at once in different languages. Some sounded scared. Others sounded excited. "Your species has had space travel for only a few hundred years," Veltheros said slowly. "How? Do you have technology that we do not?" "We just tried different things until they worked," Hyunwoo said. "Is that bad?" "The Empire has rules about technology," Veltheros said. "Laws of physics that cannot be broken. Your devices should not be possible." "Maybe the laws are wrong?" Minji suggested. The aliens looked at each other. Some covered their faces with their hands or tentacles. Others made loud noises. Jinwoo could see that something important was happening. "Is there a problem?" Veltheros stood up. "I must contact the Central Command immediately. They need to know about this." "Are we in trouble?" Jinwoo asked. "I do not know," Veltheros said. "The Empire has never encountered a species like yours. You have technology that should not exist. Technology that could change everything." He walked away, speaking rapidly into a device. Other aliens followed him, all talking at once. Hyunwoo unplugged his fusion reactor from the station's power system. The station's own power had come back online. "Should I have not helped?" "You did the right thing," Jinwoo said. "But I think we just made our first contact a lot more complicated." Minji packed up the human devices. "They seem scared of our technology." "Or excited," Jinwoo said. "Maybe both." Through the window, they could see Empire ships moving around the station. More were arriving every hour. "I think," Jinwoo said, "our quiet little first contact just became something much bigger." 3 weeks after the meeting at Nexus Prime, a fleet of Empire ships appeared above Earth. They did not come as enemies, but their size made humans nervous. Each ship was bigger than the biggest human city. There were 50 of them. Captain Soo-young, Choi stood on the deck of the Earth Defense Station, watching the ships through powerful telescopes. She had been chosen to work with the aliens because she spoke 5 languages and had studied alien culture for 10 years. "They want to inspect our technology," she told her team. "The Empire's Central Command needs to understand what we have before they decide what to do with us." A small alien ship landed at the main spaceport in Seoul. High Arbiter Veltheros came out, along with 12 other aliens from different species. Some looked like big cats with extra arms. Others had skin like rocks. One looked like a tree that could walk. "Greetings, Captain Choi," Veltheros said. "We come in peace, but we must see your weapons and defenses. The Empire needs to know if humans are dangerous." "We are not dangerous to friends," Soo-young said. "Come. We will show you what you want to see." They started at a human military base outside the city. Weapons specialist Dong-Yun Nam met them at the gate. He was a quiet man who had designed many of Earth's newest weapons. "What would you like to see first?" Dong-Yun asked. "Your most powerful weapons," said an alien that looked like a giant crab. "We must know what humans are capable of." Dong-Hyun led them to a long building. Inside was a weapon that looked simple, just a long metal tube with some equipment around it. "This is a railgun," he said. The aliens looked disappointed. "It looks very basic," Veltharos said. "Where is the plasma containment? Where are the energy crystals?" "It doesn't need those things," Dong-Yun said. He loaded a small metal ball into one end of the tube. "This uses electromagnetic forces to shoot projectiles very fast." "How fast?" asked the crab-like alien. "About 1/10 the speed of light." The aliens stepped backward. "Impossible," Veltharos said. "To accelerate matter to that speed requires exotic matter and dark energy manipulators." "No, just magnets and electricity," Dong-Yun said. He pressed a button. There was a loud crack and a flash of light. The metal ball disappeared. On a screen, they watched the ball hit a target 5 miles away. The impact created a crater 50 feet wide. "The projectile maintains its speed through vacuum," Dong-Yun explained. "At that velocity, it has enough energy to destroy a building." The tree-like alien made a sound like wind through leaves. "Our weapons use plasma beams that lose power over distance. This projectile never loses power." "How do you contain the electromagnetic fields?" the crab alien asked. "We don't need to contain them. We just use them and let them go." Veltharos touched the railgun. "This is made from common metals: iron, copper, aluminum. No rare elements." "Right. We can build hundreds of these with materials from one asteroid." The aliens talked among themselves in their different languages. Soo-young could tell they were worried. Next, they visited Dr. Yoonji Seo at the Seoul Technology Center. She worked with computers and artificial intelligence. "These are our quantum computers," she said, showing them machines that filled a room. "They look similar to ours," Veltharos said, seeming relieved. "These are our old ones," Yoonji said. "Let me show you the new ones." She led them to a desk where a flat panel sat. It was no bigger than a book and only an inch thick. "This is our newest quantum computer," she said. The aliens stared at it. "What does it do?" "Everything our big computers do, but faster." Yoonji turned it on. Numbers and pictures appeared on the screen faster than eyes could follow. "It can calculate the orbit of every object in the solar system in real time." "How is it so small?" asked a new alien that looked like a dolphin with arms. "We use quantum entanglement differently than you do," Yoonji said. "Instead of trying to control quantum particles, we let them behave naturally and read the patterns they make." She opened the computer's case. Inside were small chips and wires, but nothing that looked special. "Where are the quantum crystal matrices?" Veltharos asked. "We don't use crystals. We make quantum effects in normal silicon." "That is impossible. Quantum effects require perfect crystals in absolute zero temperatures." "Not if you design the system right," Yoonji said. "We discovered that quantum effects happen in normal materials if you know how to look for them." The dolphin alien touched one of the chips. "This cost how much to make?" "About $50 in human money." All the aliens went quiet. "Our quantum computers cost more than the total value of most planets," Veltharos whispered. The final stop was the Seoul spaceport, where pilot Jiwon Han waited with Earth's newest spaceship. It looked nothing like the Empire ships. Where their ships were covered in complex hull designs and energy collectors, the human ship looked smooth and simple. "This is the EDS Explorer," Jiwon said. "Our fastest ship." "How fast can it travel?" asked the crab alien. "About 50 times the speed of light." The aliens moved away from the ship like it was dangerous. "Show us the dark energy core," Veltharos demanded. "It doesn't have one," Jiwon said. "It uses an Alcubierre drive." "What is that?" "We bend space-time around the ship. The ship never actually moves faster than light. Space itself moves around us." Jiwon opened the ship's engine compartment. Inside was a ring of metal and some electronic equipment. Nothing glowed or hummed with power. "This is it?" the dolphin alien asked. "This is it. We create a bubble of warped space. The space in front of us contracts, and the space behind us expands. We ride the wave like a boat on water. What powers this? Normal matter-antimatter reactions. We make antimatter in particle accelerators. You make antimatter? Veltharos sounded like he was choking. Sure, it's not that hard. You just need a lot of energy and good magnetic containment. The Empire considers antimatter too dangerous for most species to handle. It is dangerous if you're not careful, Jiwan agreed. But so is fire, and humans learn to use that safely. Veltharos sat down on a nearby bench. Show us this ship working. Sure. Who wants to take a ride? The aliens looked at each other nervously. Finally, the dolphin alien stepped forward. I will go. They climbed into the ship. Jiwan started the engines. There was no noise, no shaking, no bright lights, just a gentle humming. Are we moving? The dolphin alien asked. Jiwan pointed to a screen showing their location. They were already past Mars and accelerating. How long to reach the next star system? The alien asked. Alpha Centauri? About 6 hours. 6 hours? Our fastest ships take 3 days to make that journey using jump gates. Jump gates? Jiwan asked. Massive structures that create artificial wormholes. They cost more to build than entire planets and require constant maintenance. Why not just warp space like we do? Because space cannot be warped without dark energy and exotic matter. Sure it can. Einstein proved that any matter and energy can warp space. You just need to arrange it right. They returned to Earth after a quick trip to Saturn and back. The flight took 2 hours. The alien looked sick when they landed. Back at the technology center, all the Empire aliens gathered in a circle. They spoke in their own languages for an hour while the humans waited. Finally, Veltharos approached Suyong. Captain Choi, we must ask you something important. What is it? How long have humans possessed these technologies? The railguns? About 20 years. The quantum computers? 10 years. The Alcubierre drive? 5 years. And before you had these things? We used slower methods. Chemical rockets, electronic computers, radio communications. You developed all of this in such a short time? We improve our technology every year. That's how progress works. Veltharos looked at the other aliens. The Empire has used the same basic technologies for 10,000 years. We improve them slowly and carefully. Why? Suyong asked. Because the old ways work. Change is dangerous. New technologies might have unexpected problems. But new technologies might also work better. Not in our experience. The crab alien stepped forward. Captain Choi, what other technologies are humans developing? Lots of things. Fusion power, space elevators, artificial intelligence, terraforming equipment, medical nanotechnology. When will these be ready? Some next year, some in 10 years. We never stop working on new ideas. The aliens talked among themselves again. This time they sounded more worried. We must return to our ships and report to Central Command, Veltharos said. This information will be very important to the Empire. Are we in trouble? Suyong asked. I do not know, Veltharos said honestly. Your species creates technologies that should not exist, technologies that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. We just solve problems the best way we can think of? Yes, Veltharos said quietly. That is what worries us. As the aliens returned to their ships, Suyong watched from the spaceport. She had a feeling that humanity's relationship with the galaxy was about to become much more complicated. News traveled fast across the galaxy. Within 1 month, every species in the Empire knew about human technology. Some species sent secret messages to Earth, asking for help with their problems. Others demanded that the Empire stop humans from sharing their discoveries. Economist Tai-Hoon Lim sat in a meeting room at the United Nations building in New York. Across from him were representatives from 12 different alien species. They had come to Earth secretly, without the Empire's permission. We want to trade with humans, said Kexdar, who looked like a large butterfly with 4 arms. Our homeworld has energy problems. The Empire's dark matter generators are too expensive for us to buy. What can you offer in exchange? Tai-Hoon asked. Rare metals from our asteroid mines, crystals that grow naturally on our planet, knowledge of other species and their cultures. Tai-Hoon nodded. I think we can help each other. Another alien, shaped like a walking plant, spoke up. My people need better computers. Empire quantum machines cost more than our planet makes in 50 years, but your computers are small and cheap. And they work better too, added a third alien that looked like a person made of living crystal. Taehoon spread papers across the table. Here's what Earth proposes. We will trade our technology for raw materials, knowledge, and cultural exchange. No species will be forced to trade with us. What about the Empire? Kekstar asked nervously. They control all galactic trade. They will not like this. The Empire doesn't own the galaxy, Taehoon said. Each species has the right to trade with whoever they want. Meanwhile, in the Empire's capital city, panic was spreading. Ambassador Yuna Park, Jinwoo's sister, sat across from High Chancellor Mordak, the leader of the Empire's ruling council. Your species is destroying the galactic economy, Mordak said. He was a large alien with gray skin and 6 eyes. Species everywhere are canceling their contracts with Empire companies. We're just offering better solutions, Yuna said calmly. Isn't that how trade is supposed to work? Not when it destroys 1,000-year-old systems overnight. Mordak activated a holographic display. It showed trade charts from across the galaxy. Red lines were falling everywhere. Look at this, he said. The Zeltari Confederation canceled their dark matter purchase order. They want human fusion reactors instead. The savings will pay for their entire military budget. That sounds good for them. It sounds like disaster for us. Dark matter is the foundation of our power grid business. If species switch to fusion, we lose trillions of credits in revenue. Yuna looked at more charts. The Nexari Republic canceled their quantum computer order too? They bought human computers instead. Computers that cost 1% of what ours cost and work 10 times faster. Again, that sounds good for them. Mordak's eyes all focused on her. You don't understand. The Empire's economy depends on selling expensive technology to less advanced species. If anyone can make better technology cheaply, our whole system collapses. On Earth, researcher Kyungmin Oh led a team studying alien technology. They had bought examples of Empire equipment from species that wanted to trade. This is interesting, she told her team as she opened an Empire computer. Look at how complex this is. Inside the alien computer were thousands of tiny crystals, each one perfectly cut and arranged. Cooling systems kept everything at extremely low temperatures. The whole thing needed a small fusion reactor just to power it. How much does this cost? Asked her assistant. About 5 billion credits. That's roughly equal to the entire economic output of South Korea for 1 year. And it works as well as our quantum computers? Actually, no. It works slower and uses 1,000 times more power. Kyungmin pulled out a human quantum computer for comparison. It was flat, lightweight, and ran on a simple battery. The Empire built their computer based on a theory that quantum effects only work in perfect conditions, she explained. So they need perfect crystals, perfect temperatures, and perfect isolation from outside interference. But our computers work in normal conditions. Right. We discovered that quantum effects are everywhere. You just need to know how to use them. She showed the team more Empire technology. Medical scanners that needed rare elements to function. Communication devices that required massive relay stations. Weapons that used exotic matter. Everything they make is expensive and complicated, she said, but it doesn't need to be. Within 6 months, human versions of Empire technology were spreading across the galaxy. Species that had never been able to afford advanced equipment suddenly had access to computers, medical devices, and communication systems. Trade Representative Sung-Ho Kim established humanity's first interstellar trading post on a neutral space station. Species came from hundreds of light years away to see human technology. We want to buy fusion reactors, said the ambassador from the Velthani Empire, a species that looked like large crabs. How many? Sung-Ho asked. All of them. Everyone you can make. That's a lot of reactors. What will you give us in exchange? Anything you want. Rare metals, scientific knowledge, artistic treasures. Our current power system uses imported dark matter. It costs 90% of our national budget. Sung-Ho did the math. Human fusion reactors will cost you about 1% of your budget to buy and almost nothing to operate. We know. That's why we want them. Similar conversations were happening all over the galaxy. Species were abandoning Empire technology as fast as they could afford human alternatives. The Empire's response was swift and desperate. They cut prices on their technology by half, then by 3/4. It wasn't enough. Human technology was still cheaper and worked better. High Arbiter Veltharos met with Unipark again, this time at the human embassy on the neutral world of Kepler Station. "You must stop selling technology to other species," he said. "Why?" Una asked. "Because it's destroying the Empire. The Empire has trillions of citizens and millions of worlds. How could one small species like humanity destroy something so big?" Veltharos activated a personal display device. 6 months ago, the Empire controlled 90% of all galactic technology trade. Today, we control 30% and falling. What happened to the other 60%? Species are making their own technology using human designs, or they're buying directly from Earth. That sounds like progress to me. It's chaos. Species that were stable customers for thousands of years are suddenly independent. They don't need us anymore. Una studied the charts. Entire sectors of the galaxy were switching to human-designed technology. Agricultural worlds were using human computers to manage their crops. Mining colonies were using human fusion reactors instead of imported power cells. Military fleets were buying human weapons instead of Empire plasma cannons. "Maybe the Empire needs to change its business model," she suggested. "Change?" Veltharos sounded horrified. "The Empire has worked the same way for 10,000 years. Stability is our greatest strength. Stability is good, but improvement is better. Not when improvement destroys everything we've built." Meanwhile, on the industrial world of Kepler 442b, something remarkable was happening. The planet's population had struggled for centuries to afford basic technology. Their mining operations used primitive equipment because Empire alternatives were too expensive. But now they had human computers managing their operations, human fusion reactors powering their cities, and human medical scanners in their hospitals. For the first time in their history, they had a technological standard of living equal to the wealthiest Empire worlds. "It's like magic," said their planetary leader, speaking to a human trade delegation. 6 months ago, we were a poor mining world. Now we're as advanced as any Empire core world." "Not magic," said the human trade representative. "Just good engineering." The Empire's Central Command called an emergency session. Representatives from the Empire's biggest corporations demanded action. "Human technology is destroying our markets," said the CEO of Galactic Dynamics, the Empire's largest technology manufacturer. "We've lost 80% of our computer sales and 90% of our power generation contracts." "What do you want us to do?" asked High Chancellor Mordak. "Stop them. Declare human technology illegal. Ban species from trading with Earth." "On what grounds?" "Their technology violates physical laws. It's dangerous. It's untested." Mordak looked at the data. "Actually, human technology appears to be safer than ours. They've had 0 accidents while our dark matter systems fail regularly." "That's not the point. The point is that they're destroying the Empire's economy." "Maybe," Mordak said slowly. "Our economy needed to be destroyed." Back on Earth, Unipark received an urgent message from the Empire's Central Command. She was ordered to return to the capital immediately for an emergency meeting. "They're scared," she told her brother Jinwoo. "Human technology is spreading faster than they can control." "Is that bad?" "For the Empire, yes. For everyone else, probably not. What are they going to do? I don't know. But I don't think they're going to ask us politely to stop." As Una prepared to leave for the Empire capital, reports came in from across the galaxy. More species were breaking their contracts with Empire companies. More were requesting trade agreements with Earth. Some were even asking to join a new alliance based on practical technology sharing rather than expensive dependency. The old galactic order was crumbling, and everyone knew it. The Empire's response was massive and frightening. 300 of their largest ships appeared in Earth's solar system without warning. They surrounded the planet like a metal cage, blocking all space traffic in or out. Professor Minho Jang received the message at Seoul National University at 3 in the morning. "The Empire is sending a science investigation team to Earth," the government official told him over the phone. "They want to interview our top scientists and engineers." "Interview them about what?" "How we developed our technology. They think we might be hiding something." The alien fleet sent down 20 ships filled with the Empire's best scientists. Leading them was someone who made even other aliens nervous: Grand Inquisitor Zix Thara. Zix Thara was different from the other Empire. aliens humans had met. She was tall, thin, and covered in white scales that seemed to glow in darkness. Her eyes were completely black, and when she spoke, her voice sounded like ice breaking. "I am here to understand how humans developed impossible technology," she announced at her first meeting with Earth's scientists. "The Empire has laws of physics that have been proven over 10,000 years. Your devices violate these laws." Professor Minho tried to stay calm, but Zixthara scared him. "We're happy to explain anything you want to know." "Good. We will start with fusion power." They gathered in the university's physics building. Zixthara brought 12 alien scientists with her, all experts in different fields. They set up recording devices and took notes on everything. "Show me how you make a fusion reactor," Zixthara commanded. Minho led them to the engineering lab, where students were building a small fusion reactor as a class project. The device was about the size of a washing machine. "This is a learning model," Minho explained. "Students build one every semester." "Students?" One of the alien scientists, who looked like a walking fish, sounded shocked. "Only Empire Master. Engineers are allowed to work with fusion technology." "Why?" asked Sujin, one of the human students working on the reactor. "Because fusion is dangerous and requires years of specialized training." "Not really," Sujin said. "Once you understand magnetic confinement and plasma dynamics, it's pretty straightforward." Zixthara stepped closer to the student. "How long have you been studying fusion?" "About 6 months." "Impossible. Our engineers study for 15 years before they can touch a fusion reactor." "Maybe they're studying the wrong things." The alien scientists looked at each other nervously. Zixthara made a note on her recording device. "Show me exactly how you build this," she ordered. The students spent the next hour explaining their reactor. They showed how they created magnetic fields using simple electromagnets. They demonstrated plasma containment using basic physics principles. They explained how they started the fusion reaction using conventional heating methods. "Where did you learn these techniques?" Zixthara asked. "From textbooks and online videos," Sujin said. "What textbooks? Introduction to Plasma Physics, Nuclear Engineering Fundamentals, that sort of thing." "These are publicly available?" "Sure. You can download them for free from the university website." Zixthara went very quiet. "You give away knowledge of fusion technology for free?" "Knowledge should be free," Professor Minho said. "How else can people learn?" "In the Empire, advanced knowledge is controlled. Only approved individuals can access dangerous information. But if knowledge is controlled, how do you make progress?" "Slowly and carefully." Next, they visited aerospace engineer Da-Yun Song at the Korea Aerospace Research Institute. She was working on improvements to the Alcubierre drive. "I want to understand how humans developed faster-than-light travel," Zixthara said. "We read about it in old theoretical papers from the 1990s, Da-Yun explained. "A scientist named Miguel Alcubierre wrote about the mathematical possibility of warping space-time." "One scientist, working alone?" "Initially, yes. Then other scientists built on his work. Eventually, we figured out how to make it practical." "How long did this take?" "About 30 years from theory to working prototype." The alien scientists made shocked sounds. One of them, who looked like a tree with eyes, spoke up. "The Empire has committees of thousands of scientists who work on theoretical problems for centuries." "That sounds very slow," Da-Yun said. "It's thorough. We make sure there are no mistakes." "But while you're making sure there are no mistakes, you're not making progress." Zixthara asked to see the original research. Da-Yun showed her the university library, where thousands of scientific papers were stored. "All of this research is available to anyone?" Zixthara asked. "Of course, science works best when people can build on each other's ideas. But what if someone uses this knowledge incorrectly? Then they learn from their mistakes and try again. What if their mistakes are dangerous? Then they learn to be more careful." The alien scientists spent hours reading human research papers. They seemed amazed that humans shared all their knowledge freely. "In the Empire, each research team works in isolation," explained the tree-like alien. "We don't share information between groups because competition leads to better results." "Does it?" asked material scientist Young Jae Ryu, who had joined the discussion. "We've found that cooperation leads to faster breakthroughs." "Show me an example." Youngjae pulled up records of the Alcubierre Drive project. This required expertise in theoretical physics, materials science, engineering, computer modeling, and energy systems. No single person or small team could have done it alone. So how did you do it? We put all the experts in the same building and let them talk to each other. You let different specialties work together? Why wouldn't we? Because each specialty has its own methods and terminology. They can't understand each other. Sure they can if they try. Scientists are smart people. The Empire scientists looked like their world was falling apart. Zixthara made more notes. Their next stop was to meet theoretical physicist Nayeon Bayek at the Institute for Advanced Study. She had worked on the mathematical foundations of human space-time manipulation. I want to understand your approach to theoretical physics, Zixthara said. What do you want to know? How do you know which theories are worth pursuing? We test them, Nayeon said simply. But testing requires building expensive equipment. Not always. Sometimes you can test ideas with computer simulations. Sometimes you can design small, cheap experiments. What if your tests prove your theory wrong? Then we learn something new and try a different theory. But that's wasteful. You could spend years working on something that doesn't work. Better than spending centuries working on something that might not work. Zixthara pulled out a device that projected holographic images. The Empire's approach is different. We have theoretical frameworks that have been proven over thousands of years. We only pursue research that fits within these frameworks. What if the frameworks are wrong? They can't be wrong. They've been tested for thousands of years, but you haven't made any major technological breakthroughs in thousands of years. We don't need breakthroughs. Our technology is sufficient. Sufficient for what? For maintaining stability and order. Nayeon frowned. But what about progress? What about improving people's lives? Improvement is dangerous. It creates instability. So you choose stagnation over progress? We choose wisdom over recklessness. The discussion continued for hours. The Empire scientists kept asking how humans could develop advanced technology so quickly. The human scientists kept explaining that they simply tried things until they worked. You have no central planning? Asked the fish-like alien. Not really. Anyone with a good idea can get funding to test it. No oversight committees? We have. Safety reviews, but they're designed to help researchers, not stop them. No restrictions on who can access advanced knowledge. Information wants to be free. The more people who know something, the faster we can improve it. By the end of the week, the Empire scientists looked exhausted and confused. They gathered in a private meeting without any humans present. Zixthara contacted the Empire's Central Command. I have completed the initial investigation, she reported. What did you discover? Asked High Chancellor Mordak. Humans are not hiding any secret knowledge. They are not using any unknown physics principles. Then how do they have superior technology? They never learned that advanced technology was supposed to be difficult. Explain. The Empire has spent thousands of years developing complex theoretical frameworks that define what is possible and what is impossible. Humans never learned these frameworks. So they don't know what's impossible? Correct. When they encounter a problem, they assume there must be a solution and keep working until they find it. But surely there are limits to what can be achieved. Apparently, not as many limits as we thought. There was a long silence from the Central Command. What do you recommend? That is above my authority to decide, but I will say this. Human technology is not just more advanced than ours. It's more practical, more efficient, and more accessible. How is that possible? Because they designed technology to be used, not to be impressive. Zixthara ended the communication and looked at her team of scientists. All of them seemed changed by what they had learned. What do we do now? Asked the tree-like alien. We complete our report and return to the Empire. And then? The Empire's ultimatum arrived exactly 1 year after first contact. High Chancellor Mordak delivered it personally, appearing on every communication screen across Earth at the same time. Humans must cease all technology sharing with other galactic species immediately, he announced. You have 30 days to comply. Any species found using human technology after this deadline will face economic sanctions. Earth will be quarantined from galactic society until you agree to our terms. Admiral. Jae-hyun Kwan watched the message from the bridge of humanity's newest space station. He had expected this moment for months. The Empire could not allow human technology to spread any further without losing control completely. "What's our response?" asked his aide. "We demonstrate why their ultimatum doesn't matter," Jae-hyun said. He activated the communication system. That connected him to Chief Engineer Hyun Yu, who was working at the outer edge of the solar system. "Hyun, are you ready?" "All systems are green, Admiral. We can begin any time." Begin the demonstration. Across the galaxy, every species with access to human communication technology received the same message. It showed a view of the sun from space, with Hyun's fleet of construction ships positioned around it. "Citizens of the galaxy," Jae-hyun's voice said over the transmission. "The Empire claims that human technology is dangerous and must be controlled. We would like to show you what human technology can actually do." The construction ships began to move. Each ship was small, no bigger than a house. But there were thousands of them. They spread out in a perfect sphere around the sun. "What you are seeing is the beginning of a Dyson swarm," Jae-hyun explained. "These automated ships will collect materials from asteroids and build solar collectors around our star." "How long will this take?" asked someone from the viewing audience. The question came from the Velthani Empire, the crab-like species that had bought human fusion reactors. 6 months for the first phase," Hyun answered. 2 years for completion. On the Empire's capital world, emergency meetings were being held. "This is impossible," said the director of Galactic Engineering. "A Dyson structure should take centuries to build and require the resources of hundreds of worlds." "How are they doing it so fast?" asked High Chancellor Mordak. "Their construction ships are completely automated. They mine asteroids, refine materials, and build new collectors without any direct control. Each ship can also build copies of itself." "Self-replicating machines? That's extremely dangerous technology." Apparently not to humans. The demonstration continued for weeks. Viewers across the galaxy watched as more and more solar collectors appeared around the sun. The construction ships worked constantly, never stopping, never slowing down. "The Empire told us that large-scale construction projects required massive fleets and millions of workers," said the representative from the Zeltari Confederation. "But humans are doing it with a few thousand small ships." "It's about efficiency," Hyun explained during one of her regular update broadcasts. "Instead of building big ships that need big crews, we build small ships that don't need crews at all." "What prevents these machines from malfunctioning and destroying everything?" "Good programming and simple fail-safes. If a ship stops working, it shuts down and sends a signal for repair. If it detects a problem it can't handle, it asks for help." The Empire tried to discredit the demonstration. "Automated construction is reckless," Mordak announced. "Humans will lose control of their machines and create a galactic disaster." But the machines worked perfectly. Day after day, week after week, they continued building. No accidents, no malfunctions, no signs of losing control. Meanwhile, xenobiologist Sang-wook Choi was making his own kind of demonstration. The Empire had a list of species that were considered too primitive for contact. These species were quarantined on their home planets, supposedly for their own protection. Sang-wook decided to visit one of them. The planet Kepler 186f was home to a species the Empire called the Builders. They looked like large bears with extra arms and had developed technology roughly equivalent to human civilization in the 1800s. "We're not supposed to be here," Sang-wook told his small crew as their ship entered the planet's atmosphere. "The Empire says these people aren't ready for galactic contact. What do you think?" "I think the Empire is wrong. They landed near one of the planet's major cities. The Builders had impressive architecture, tall buildings made of stone and metal, complex bridges, elaborate transportation systems." Sang-wook activated a human-built universal translator and approached the first builder he saw. "Hello," he said. "My name is Sang-wook. I come from another world." The builder, who wore what looked like work clothes, stared at him for a moment. Then she smiled. "I wondered when someone would finally visit us," she said. "We've been seeing strange lights in the sky for decades, ships that don't belong to us." "You knew about space travel?" "We figured it out 50 years ago. We've been building rockets and trying to reach other worlds, but something keeps stopping our ships from leaving our solar system." Sang-wook nodded grimly. "The Empire has been blocking you." "The Empire?" "A galactic government. They think your species isn't ready for contact with other worlds." The builder laughed. Not ready? We've been trying to make contact for half a century. Sang-wook spent the next month on the planet, learning about builder civilization. He discovered that they had developed fusion power, quantum computers, and space-time manipulation, all independently, just like humans had. How did you figure out fusion? He asked a builder scientist. Trial and error, mostly. We knew it was possible because stars do it naturally. We just had to figure out how to make it work on a smaller scale. The Empire says fusion is too dangerous for most species. Only if you don't understand it properly. Sang-wook transmitted his findings back to Earth. The builders weren't primitive at all. They were innovators who had been deliberately held back by Empire policies. There are probably dozens of species like this, he reported. Species that could contribute to galactic civilization but are being kept isolated. Back on Earth, President Jun Lee was preparing humanity's response to the Empire's ultimatum. She had called together representatives from every human nation and every friendly alien species. The Empire wants us to stop sharing our technology, she told the assembly. But I don't think that's what the galaxy wants. What do you propose? Asked the representative from the Nexari Republic. We form a new alliance. An alliance based on cooperation instead of control. She activated a holographic display showing a map of the galaxy. We call it the Practical Technology Alliance. Any species can join if they agree to share knowledge freely and help each other solve problems. What about the Empire? Asked the Velthani ambassador. The Empire can join too if they want to, but they can't control who we share our knowledge with. Within weeks, over 100 species had requested to join the new alliance. Many were species that the Empire had classified as too primitive, but who turned out to have their own innovations and discoveries. The Empire's response was swift and angry. They declared the Practical Technology Alliance illegal and threatened to use military force to stop it. But something unexpected happened. Empire species, the ones who had been loyal to the central government for thousands of years, began to question their leaders. Why are we preventing other species from sharing knowledge? Asked the representative from the Mordani Collective during an Empire Council session. Because unrestricted technology sharing leads to chaos, High Chancellor Mordak replied. Does it? The humans have been sharing their technology for over a year. Where is the chaos? Economic disruption, social upheaval, the collapse of established systems. You mean the collapse of Empire control. The debate split the Empire down the middle. Some species wanted to maintain the old system of controlled technology and restricted knowledge. Others wanted to join the human alliance and share in the benefits of rapid technological progress. Director Woo Jin-shin established humanity's first interstellar university on a space station at the edge of Empire territory. The university offered courses in practical engineering, open scientific research, and collaborative problem-solving. We're teaching alien species how to think like humans, Woo Jin explained to a human news reporter. Not because human thinking is better, but because human thinking is different. What's the difference? Humans assume that problems have solutions, and that solutions can be found through experimentation. Most Empire species assume that problems are permanent, and that solutions require approval from higher authorities. The university's first graduating class included students from 40 different species. They returned to their home worlds with new ideas about technology, science, and social organization. The changes were immediate and dramatic. Species that had been dependent on Empire technology for centuries suddenly became self-sufficient. Worlds that had been poor because they couldn't afford Empire solutions became prosperous, using human-inspired alternatives. The final blow came when Grand Inquisitor Zix Thara published her official report on human technology. Instead of condemning human methods, she recommended that the Empire adopt them. Human technological development is not only more efficient than our methods, she wrote, it is more ethical.